It's me. I'm a human. Oh. Hey everybody, welcome to the July journal. I've got a lot of news for this month, even though I haven't streamed all month, and I'll get into why that is in a second. First, I want to come at you as to why I'm doing this live instead of in VR chat. So somewhere near the beginning of this month, the creator of the Rikkors, or at least they're Japanese, so their translator, that's also kind of in charge of that whole species. I was getting in contact with them and seeing about rules and stuff, and they were trying to tell me that, hey, any kind of art for the species, even if it's just like commission work, like doodles, drawings, they want 10% of everything, plus like credit for the Rikkor species somewhere in the description. Now, I don't like following rules if I don't have to, and I love being the owner of my own stuff. So I decided, hey, well, that's okay. I'll let you have those rules. Yeah, they're not like going after people trying to enforce these rules, but I kind of want to be in the bounds of the rules here. And so I was like, hey, I'll just go create my own species. So I've been working with this fabulous artist, Zara Arts, and we've been creating a new species for what used to be my Rikkor creature. Since my Twitch name is Blue Rikkor, even though that was kind of like a spin-off of the Rikkor species, we're gonna go with Rikkor as like the new species name. But with that being said, we've removed the Patreon animations, since that was using the Rikkor model. Once we get the new species finalized, we plan to switch those to hand-drawn marching animations, which my friend LG Dragon has been working on. Zara has also been switching some like stickers to the new proposed designs. So here's a few of those. I can't get over how adorable they draw my creature. But yeah, so the big news, right? So I didn't stream at all this month, which is weird for me because I've been streaming like 3 times a week, 5 times a week sometimes throughout this entire year. So it's like a whole month of not streaming felt wrong. But I had like 4 loans, not really time sensitive ones, like they were all to families and friends and whatnot, except for 2. So I've been working this whole month trying to pay off those loans so that I could instead use those funds either for my content creation or just as a buffer so I could pay rent. And so I'm halfway done, so I'm probably gonna spend this next month also just hardcore working, trying to pay those off. Because once those are paid off, I'll get right back to content creation stuff. Alright, so what all did I do this month? This month I actually suffered from monovirus for a couple weeks. Not a lot of fun, but I won't get too much into it here. I traveled to El Paso this month for my grandma's funeral, and that was kind of an interesting experience. I've never had a family member that I was close to pass away. I really loved my grandma, but I don't feel all that bad because it was kind of her time to go. She was suffering from dementia, and she was really just a shell of her former self. So I was kind of glad for her to be able to pass on. She believed in God and heaven, so in her eyes, I'm glad she was able to go to her happy, place in the sky, right? Okay, so I've been trying to do a lot of work this month, right? Which is a lot of tutoring. It's my primary job. But because it's summer, right, everything is kind of slow tutoring-wise. So instead, I've been doing a lot of deliveries. So I've been running kind of on average 14 deliveries per day. I can get about 15, but anything more than that's just ugh. So I've got a few stories. None of these are very pleasant stories in the moment, but I thought they were funny and worth sharing. So with Favor, what we do is it kind of like DoorDash or Grubhub. We're a delivery company. So we go in, they give us food, and then we deliver it to the customer. It's a little bit more than that typically though, because sometimes the place that we're going to is not partnered with Favor. So thus we have to go in like as if we're a customer and just buy it with our card. And then, they'll give us the food and then we'll, just like normal, give it to the customer. So I, for one order, went to KFC, and it was a pretty simple order. I gave them my order, and I had to fill up the drink myself because I'm the customer, right? So I looked at the order, and I realized that the drink that the customer wanted was out of service. It was like the only drink that they didn't have at the moment. So I texted them, hey, they're out of this drink. Do you want a replacement? And I waited 5 minutes or so, and I didn't get anything back. So I just called them because, I got the food already. I'm ready to, I don't want to make their food cold, so I'm going to call them. And I called them and they said, yeah, I sent you a text message back, which either the system messed up. I don't know. I didn't get that text message. But I said, okay, well, what drink do you want? And they said Sierra Mist. So fine. Okay, I'll be over there shortly. Bye. So I fill up Sierra Mist. And then I head on there, right? I make it all the way to the customer. I give him the food. I wave goodbye to him. I see him open the door as I leave it there. And then as I'm driving to my next order, I realize I still have the Sierra Mist in the car. So not only did he message back and I had to call him to confirm, I didn't even give it to him. I was like, well. I thought about driving the 20 minutes it would have taken to get back to him, but then at that point it was just gonna be easier for him to, message favor and get a refund. Speaking of drinks, Whataburger has large cups and very small cup holders. The cup holder container. I was doing a very large order from Whataburger, and there was a total of 5 drinks. So I have 2 cup holders and 2 in the back that I just don't trust. So I put one of the drinks in the front, and the other 4 were in a cup carrier in a bag. And so I put those in the floorboard in the passenger seat. Fine, These are large drinks, by the way. A Whataburger medium is like most places large. I had something like 1 medium and maybe 3 larges in this one cup holder bag. Set that down on the passenger side floor and started driving away. I didn't think too much of it. Unfortunately, this Whataburger is right next to a highway, a service road. And so I drive up on the service road, start going real fast, and immediately there's a light ahead, so I start slowing down. I'm slowing down on a downward hill. So there's a lot of forward momentum. And I start hearing something, and I look down as I'm slowing down, and the drinks are slowly tipping over. And I can't do anything. I got both hands on the wheel. If I could do anything, I wouldn't be looking, and I have to slow down and go, I don't want to crash. So I just helplessly watch these 4 drinks boosh, tip over. I end up pulling up to the side, stopping the car, getting out real quick, going around, and just trying my best to put them upright again. The ones that were closed were fine, but one of them popped open and just spilled everywhere. And keep in mind, this is not my car. I drive it around, I pay for everything, but it's my dad's car. It's technically my grandma's car that was given to my dad. So, as soon as I saw a half-inch of Coca-Cola in my floorboard, I figured my dad was gonna be so mad. I did the best I could. I took all the ice, dumped it on the floor. The one drink that was just ruined, I threw that away. Luckily, most of it was soaking into the mat. There was a mat over the floorboard, so I just took that, let that dry out. And so, the floor under it wasn't too stained. It was just the mat that got stained, luckily. Okay. Now on to a couple of accidents. I already told my dad about this one, but when I was pulling up into this one neighborhood, I ended up going into a dead end. So I had the apartments on the right side and then you're just parking lot on the left. So I back up towards the apartment, And I had already looked out the window, right? Like I saw, hey, this is where the line of the apartment is. I should be able to back up this far. So I back up what I thought was reasonable. And then I hear donk, and the car jolts to a stop. I had just hit this jut out from the apartment. So apparently the apartment is not straight. There's a pretty large jut out for the apartment. Okie doke. I've got a little bit of a confessional to do. Was driving around in this neighborhood trying to find the apartment, and I came to a dead end and had to do a U-turn. I looked out the window and I saw the apartment there, and I thought that wall kind of continued here. I can show you, like over here. I thought the wall continued that way. I didn't realize it jutted out like this. So when I looked out my window, it looked fine, but I made a bad assumption. It wasn't. So I backed into the corner there. I'm sorry, Dad. Oh no. But yeah, you can see a whole bunch of marks, a little bit of crack there. But yeah, that's no good. I'm sorry, Dad. It's my first major accident with the car, and honestly, way better than if I had accidentally hit someone else's car or something. Like the wall itself, the wall probably didn't like it, but it was unharmed. I did have another accident, which I haven't told you yet, Dad, so this is his first time hearing it, probably. It was a small one, though, so I didn't bother, mentioning it. It was at night, right? Some of these favors last all the way up to, 10 o'clock at night, because, I need to get a certain amount to fit promos. So, I'll just keep going until I got it all. So I was exiting a neighborhood at night when I came across this gate to get out of the neighborhood. Now, 99% of gates in Austin go outwards. That just makes sense. But I pulled up to this one, and there was a big warning sign on it. And remember, it's dark, so I'm like, what does that say? And I'm, the gate's probably opening as I'm looking at it, and I realize it says that it opens inward. And so as I'm realizing that, I'm seeing the gate opening towards me, coming closer. You have to pull up really close to gates sometimes in order for them to open. So that's just the strategies. You pull up real close, and then thus the gate will always open. But this one sure did open towards me, so I put in reverse real quick, slammed on the brake, it's maybe not slam, but put my foot on the gas, tried to get out of there, but it did end up donking the front just a little bit, and I got out of the car and looked, and it wasn't really much of anything. Again, probably just needs to be repainted. I got one last story for you. There was one time that I made the mistake of getting Andy's frozen custard as my first meal of the day. And even though I love ice cream, they never sit well with me. Ice creams, especially shakes, they make me feel so bad after. So yeah, I did about 4 or 5 favors until I was I'm feeling really bad. I need to go home and just use the restroom. But so on this 5th one, right? I was going to this burger place, and they had a small Oreo shake thing. It was very tiny. But I got that, put it in my car, on my way, right? I'm feeling bad, and so I'm okay, so after this one, I'm just gonna put a pause on it, go home. I get to the destination, and it's this barber shop. I get my food out, and as I'm walking through the door, I'm noticing the cashier person kind of perk up and and I go, hey, is this your order? And I step through the door and slam his shake to the ground. It slips out of my hand and just bursts right onto the floor. From his perspective, hey, you have my order? I sure do. Boom! I felt so embarrassed. But what a absolute Chad this guy was. The most nicest person. You know, he works in customer service, right? So he kind of gets it. People make mistakes. He goes over to me like, hey, it's okay. Don't feel embarrassed. Things happen. I'll clean it up. And I said, no. Do you have anything to, I can help clean it up. It was my mistake. He's like, no, I'll clean it up. You just go, whatever. It's fine. And I was like, at this point, my insides are suffering. So I'm like, thank you. And I just leave. I book it out of there. I'm so sorry, guy. I'm so sorry. But, well, hopefully you enjoyed my story time. I love working with Favor, and mistakes are bound to be made when I'm running around. But hey, that's my stories for today. I got plenty more, but I'll leave it at that. Let's get on to some of the cool stuff that I programmed. So, one of the benefits of not streaming this month is I've had the opportunity to program stuff that I wouldn't normally have a whole lot of time to do. Real quick, we'll go over A2000. So as you know, as I mentioned in my last journal, I've been kind of working on this banking system for it. There's already PayPal and Cash App that you can use, but I added Venmo to that. I also started working with slash commands, so you can now do slash profile to open up your profile. And I also added a sticker slash command. So like with Discord, you get a certain amount of sticker slots, and because I've been getting so many stickers, I've overfilled those slots. So I created a command that can just post the stickers for me. It's kind of nice. But yeah, one of the major things I've been working on is my new stream overlay. I've completely reworked it. How it used to work before is I had a separate Python script that would pull data from my server, take that data and convert it into a text file, and then GameMaker would take that text file and convert it into, data that it can process. This was pretty inefficient. When I realized I could just pull the data straight from GameMaker to my server, that simplified a lot of things. I also added a block editor. So before, my Twitch overlay would move from right to left and just kind of generate terrain. Now it's all static, it's all in one spot, but I can design the terrain and move the camera around to look at the different terrain and have the characters kind of move around and follow it. It's just kind of a neat little dynamic feature. And what's really cool is I can just, with a couple key combos, switch to different maps on the fly. And with this new camera system, I can kind of just move it wherever I want it to be. I completely remade the player characters, the ones that represent the Twitch viewers. And one of the things that's really cool is their names. I've added a system to where their names kind of try to avoid each other. You'll get this kind of cool effect where it's like, if there's a pile of them and one goes across it, it'll kind of like staircase up it and then back down it. It's like it's avoiding it. There's currently a system in place where if I get enough viewers, the nameplates will just turn off, because then it just gets into this massive pile of names that kind of covers the screen instead. I also re-added chat. It now is contained in this bottom left third of the screen, kind of out of the way, but still visible. The king system is back, so that's where if people donate, the highest donator is the king, the cheer king. I've been working on notifications. The raid notification is complete. Has a lot more animation and even has sound to it now. Also, VoiceMod just recently had an update that allows users to change my voice. We haven't tested it out yet since I haven't been streaming, but sounds cool. I'm excited to see someone use that. And speaking of extensions, I've been working on my own extension. When enabled, users can now click on the actual video feed of my stream, and I can track where they've clicked. So I can now make interactive stuff. This is going to lead to all sorts of wacky, interactable things. But anyways, that's all for this month. For next month, I want to finish off those loans and hopefully wrap up a lot of the stream overlay coding stuff. And I'm excited to get back to streaming. Once all these loans are paid off, I might be able to start hosting MVTs again. So that'll be pretty exciting. But anyways, I hope you guys have a lovely month, lovely day, lovely week, lovely year. And I'll catch you guys next time. Bye bye!